Hi, my name is Janet Gilson, and I'd like to read a little bit for you from my latest book, Letters to Ian, which I published a few weeks ago. I'm going to read the introduction. You can never be prepared for such devastating news. Although you may have heard stories of other people who have been through the same or similar trauma, you never ever expect it to happen to you. There is no doubt that miscarriage is extremely painful and deals its own devastating blow, especially in the case of recurring miscarriages. But the utter raw pain of holding a dead baby is beyond belief. Only those that have experienced this agonising pain can even begin to imagine how it feels and how it ultimately affects you. The death of a baby leaves you with an overwhelming sense of loss, the loss of what might have been. How would my child have grown? What would his first words have been? How old would he have been when he took his first steps? What would his smile have looked like? What would his future have looked like? The list goes on and on, it's endless. As the obstetrician utters the words, "I'm sorry, there seems to be a problem," you hope against all hope that the problem can be solved. Surely in this day and age, with all the medical advances, something can be done about the problem. The slow realisation that in fact nothing can be done, that they cannot find a heartbeat, or that your baby is slowly dying, brings such pain to your heart and a sickness in the pit of your stomach that just doesn't go away. The handling of such a situation should be extremely sensitive, but sadly, as I know only too well, this is not always the case. At my 6-week post-delivery follow-up appointment with the same obstetrician that had admitted me to hospital, who had actually dealt with the situation extremely well at the time, continued to tell me, I believe in an effort to convince me that it was better that this had happened. It's better than having a disabled or Down syndrome child. Those were his words. Whilst I wouldn't want my baby boy to suffer in any way whatsoever, it really wasn't what I needed to hear at that time, when my heart was completely shattered. Everything was still so real and raw. With retrospect, it is now easier to understand what he had meant, although it's still unacceptable. He definitely shouldn't have uttered those words just 6 weeks after a devastating loss. During the initial grieving process for the son I would never get to watch grow up, I listened to a lot of other mothers who were also recovering from losses the same or similar to mine. It was during the time we had spent at a local support group where we began our healing process. One of these mothers was saddened by the fact that she would never get to write a letter to her son. This small thing really hurt me. Being the prolific writer that I am, it really hit home. I had, after all, written many letters and things to my daughters over the years. But wait, why ever not? I thought, and I started to write letters to my darling son Ian. It made me feel that I was still connected to him and helped me enormously. It gave me back the connection that I had longed for. Whenever I was thinking of him, or whenever something major was happening within our family, I would write to him to tell him, and that made me feel that I could at least communicate my thoughts and feelings with him. It was just my way of including him in everything that happened. Keeping these letters to myself was special. It was something I felt was just mine and Ian's, just ours. But now it's time to share them with the rest of the world. So I share these letters here and my thoughts on the situation I found myself in to help others who have suffered the loss of a baby. I do this in the hope that in some small way it may help. Whether you got to hold and see your baby or not, if writing to your baby will help you to pour out your feelings on paper, then I believe it may be cathartic for you, as it was and still is for me, and may help as much as it has helped me. No parent should have the pain of burying their child, and this book is also dedicated to them.